Hello all, my name is Vinit Krishna from the Department of Mechanical Engineering. Now this video is a continuation of the previous video. That was module 1 part 3 of subject MET 205 Metallurgy and Material Science. Now this is the fourth part of module 1. So once you have gone through all the previous parts, then you can continue with this part. Now we will start talking about Miller indices. Miller indices is a system of notation for designating crystallographic planes and directions. Certain directions and planes within a unit cell carry particular significance. For example, crystallographic directions are used to indicate a particular orientation of a single crystal. Also, metals deform along the planes of atoms which are most tightly packed. Now, a set of three integers or indices known as Miller indices are the shorthand notation used to describe crystallographic directions and planes. The basis for determining the index values is the unit cell with a coordinate system having three axes along the edges situated at one of the corners. For some unit cells, there is rhombohedral, monoclinic, triclinic and hexagonal. The three axes are not mutually perpendicular as in the familiar Cartesian system. The number of indices will match with the dimension of the lattice or the crystal. That is, in one dimensional there will be one index, in two dimensional there will be two indices, and in three dimensional there will be three indices, etc. Miller indices of a direction. A crystallographic direction is defined as a line or vector between 2 points. Now here you can see in the figure a unit cell. So any vector r passing from the origin to a lattice point, any lattice point, we can write it as r equal to r1 A plus R2 B plus R3 C, where A, B and C are the basic vectors, or they are also called generator vectors. Now, basic vectors are unit lattice translation vectors which define the coordinate axis. As you can see in the figure, vector A, vector B and vector C, which define the coordinate axis. Also you can see the three interfacial. Now the question will be how to determine the Miller indices. So let's see the steps involved in the determination of Miller indices of a direction. First step, determine the coordinates of 2 points that lie on the direction using a right-handed coordinate system. So once you have done that, we can see the second step, that is, subtract the coordinates of tail point from those of the head point and express the same in terms of unit cell dimensions. Now you don't need to worry about this now, because very soon we will see what is tail point and what is head point and how to do the subtraction, everything in detail. So after that, third step being, multiply or divide these numbers by a common factor to reduce them to the smallest integers. So we need to convert whatever number we are getting into smallest integers. And last step, the three indices are enclosed in square brackets as U, V, W. Now three indices means it's a three-dimension lattice, and square bracket you need to use. That is important. For representing Miller indices of a direction, you need to use square bracket. A negative integer is represented with a bar over the number. That is, if you have -1, -2 such values, we should not represent it as -1 and -2. We should represent it as 1 bar, 2 bar, etc. Miller indices for directions in 2D. So let's take this example 5, 3, this one. So as we can see, we have the origin over here 0, and the basic vectors are being vector A and vector B, the basic vectors. So this vector will be 5 times A along the x-axis, 5A, and this vector will be along the y-axis, this vector will be 3 times the basic vector B, that is 3B. So that our example, that is this vector, this point will be representing like 5, 3 xy, right? Here origin 0, 0. Now talking about this vector, this point will be called the end point or head point, and this point, that is where we have the origin of the coordinate system, this point will be called the start point or tail point. Now we need to find the Miller indices. So we know the steps involved in the determination of Miller indices for direction. First we need to identify the starting point, that is x1, y1. In our case it will be origin, that is 0, 0, and then the end point or head point, which we know x2, y2, that is 5, 3. Those are the lattice points. Now we need to subtract in such a way that x2 minus x1, comma, y2 minus y1, and write those numbers in square brackets without comma in order to obtain Miller indices. So that we can write square bracket 5, 3. You can close the bracket. That will be the Miller indices. Now let's take another example over here, 4 minus 2. You can follow the same procedure in order to obtain the Miller indices. Square bracket 4, instead of minus 2, remember 2 bar. You should not write as minus 2. Inside the square bracket you should represent it as 2 bar. Now here you can see a common factor. So normally we take out the common factor, that is outside the bracket you can write 2, and inside the square bracket you can simply write 2, 1 bar, 2 being the common factor. You can keep the common factor preferably outside the bracket if the length has to be preserved in further computation, otherwise you can omit it. Now these are the examples when it comes to 3D, 3 dimension, general Miller indices for a direction in 3D is written as u v w in square bracket. The length of the vector represented by the Miller indices will be root of u square plus v square plus w square. Now in the previous slide we saw 2 coordinate system, that is x axis and y axis. Here we will be having one more axis, that is x, y and z, since we are dealing with 3 dimension. Now in the figure you can see the important directions in 3D represented by Miller indices. The procedure is almost same as we saw in the previous slide, only one difference, that is in 2D we subtracted the coordinates of tail point from those of the head point and we expressed the same in terms of the unit cell dimension. That is, in the previous example it was x2 minus x1 comma y2 minus y1, the 2 points we obtained like that, right? But here we will be having one more term, z2 minus z1. And you can see there are three important set of directions related to the cube are cell edge type, that is 0, 0, 1. Then second one, green colored one, face diagonal type 0, 1, 1 type, and body diagonal 1, 1, 1 type. I would suggest you all to memorize the important directions. Now let's see how to obtain the Miller indices of direction in 3 dimension, 3D. So here we have two examples here. Example 1, this red colored line, and example 2, the other one, this red colored line, example 2. Now here we have the origin 0, 0, 0, and you can see the coordinate system x, y and z. So if you have the coordinate system, you can locate the end points of the two lines, example 1 and example 2, the 2 points, end points. For example 1 over here, for example 2, the end point over here. Okay. So let's take example 1. Start point and end point. Start point 0, 0, 0. End point, for example 1, it is 1, 0 and half. And how do we get that? 1 means along x axis 1 unit, because this end point lies over here. Now this point is at 1 unit distance along x axis, right? Along y axis this point lies at 0 distance, that is 0 distance from y axis. Along this direction the point has got no displacement, it lies in the xz plane, no displacement along y axis, so it will be 0, 1, 0, and the last one is half along z axis, right? Now this point is having a displacement along z axis, half of a cell edge. This point is at the middle of this edge, so you will get 1, 0 and half, x, y, z respectively. And the starting point is obviously is our origin, so it's easy, it will be 0, 0, 0. So according to the procedure, what we need to do is, in order to obtain the Miller indices, first we need to subtract the tail point, that is the starting point, from head point or end point. The subtraction will be 1, 0, half minus 0, 0, 0, which will give 1, 0 and 1 by 2, half. But remember, we should not take it as 1, 0 and half, we need to convert it into integer. And how do we do that? By multiplying with the common factor. Multiplying with the common factor, that is 2 here. So it will be 2, 0, 1. 2, 0, 1. And how to write it in terms of, in order to represent Miller indices? Remember, we need to use square bracket. Square brackets, and inside the square brackets you need to write the numbers without comma. Square bracket 2, 0, 1. Simply you write 2, 0, 1 without comma. Now this will be the Miller indices for example 1. Similarly, if you take example 2, the starting point x, x1, y1, z1 will be 0, 0, 0 itself, whereas the end point or head point for example 2 will be with the same coordinate system. It will be minus 1, 1 and 1. x2, y2, z2 will be minus 1, 1, 1. Minus 1 because here you have from origin towards this direction you have positive x-axis. From origin towards the other side you are having minus x-axis. Similarly, from origin towards this direction you will be having minus y-axis, and from origin towards this direction you will be having positive z-axis. From origin towards this direction you will be having minus z-axis. So our point, head point lies over here, which is 1 unit behind the coordinate system, right, along minus x-axis, 1 unit. So we write minus 1 for x2, and positive along positive y direction 1 unit. So we have 1 for y2, and for z2 the point lies along positive z-axis, again 1 unit. So we have z2 as 1. So overall minus 1, 1, 1, and starting point, it's our origin, that is 0, 0, 0. So according to the procedure, what we need to do to subtract the starting point from the end point, that is minus 1, 1, 1 minus 0, 0, 0, which will give minus 1, 1, 1. But how do we represent Miller indices? By putting the same inside square bracket. Also remember, you should not use comma, and you should not write minus 1. Instead of minus 1, you represent it as 1 bar. So the Miller indices for example 2 will be square bracket 1 bar 1, 1. Following points to be noted about the use of Miller indices for direction. First point, as the directions are vectors, a direction and its negative are not identical. They represent the same line but opposite directions. Example, the direction 1, 0, 0 and direction 1 bar 0, 0, they represent the same line but they are in opposite directions. Just like our positive x-axis and negative x-axis. X-axis, we have one x-axis, the line is common, but positive x-axis, the direction of positive x-axis is just opposite to direction of negative x-axis. So here also 1, 0, 0, the direction 1, 0, 0 and direction 1 bar 0, 0, even though they represent the same line, the directions are different. They are opposite to each other. Second point, a direction and its multiple are identical. They represent the same direction. direction 120 and direction 240. So here the direction 240 is a multiple of direction 120, so that's why they represent the same direction. Third point, in any crystal system there are certain groups of directions which are equivalent and are called family of directions. In cubic system corresponding to direction 100, family of equivalent directions can be obtained by interchanging the positions and signs of indices. The index when closed in angle brackets represent a family. So you can see here, family of directions of direction 100 can be represented by writing the same 100 inside angle bracket. So instead of square bracket, you replace square bracket with angle bracket, and then you will get family of directions. And we can see the different directions which comes under the family of direction 100. It can be obtained by as said interchanging the positions and signs of indices. So that's the procedure to obtain the various directions coming under the family of direction. So here we can see 100, that is one direction, 010. Remember, you need to put the numbers 100, 010, everything inside square bracket, then only it will represent a direction. Third one 001, and then you take the signs 1 bar 00, 0 1 bar 0 and 00 1 bar. So these are the directions which comes under family of direction 100. Family of direction 100 can be represented by putting 100 inside